sure.
Alrighty. So, can you give us your name?
Tawny T. Galbraith,
Okay, and Tawny T, where were you born at?
Oklahoma City.
Oklahoma City. And where did you live when you moved to Guthrie?
In the elbow.
In the Elbow.
Yeah.
Okay. And so, what do you recall about your childhood?
Well, it was pretty good.
Yeah.
Got to play.
Yeah.
Got to run through fields, do gardens,
Mhm.
feed the animals, fish.
Mhm.
Just grow up like a normal kid.
Yeah. So now you say the Elbow. Can you explain what the Elbow is?
The elbow was an area where most blacks lived, mostly our family. It was an area that was surrounded by water. You couldn't get to the elbow unless you crossed over a bridge.
Mm-hmm.
So we had our own park,
Mm-hmm.
churches. We had just about everything that could make us happy.
Okay. So how much of your family lived down there in the Elbow?
Probably 90%.
90%. So great grandmothers.
Great grandmothers,
Uh-huh.
yeah, great grandmothers, aunts, aunties, cousins, nephews.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So did your family what did they do for a living? What did your parents do for a living?
My grandfather, he worked at the furniture factory. He worked there 27 years, missed 2 days, never took a vacation.
Wow. And what furniture factory did he work at?
Oklahoma Furniture Factory in Guthrie.
Okay, cool. What did your grandmother do?
My grandmother was the person that kept the family together.
Yeah.
She did all the cooking. She
Yeah.
did the gardening. She fed the chickens, rabbits, everything.
So down there at the Elbow would be big enough for you to have your own farm?
Oh yeah, we had our own farm. We literally had spaces where our family, we would do a garden. When I say a garden, I'm talking about a big garden, enough to feed, a couple of hundred people.
Wow.
We only time we went to the grocery store was to get salt, pepper, and to get stuff to make our soap because we didn't,
Yeah.
Grandma and them made lye soap.
Wow. Okay, so and y'all hunted for your food.
Oh yeah, literally.
Okay.
All
And so
the
you
meat.
could hunt down there in the Elbow?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sounds like a big area. So okay, cool. What else? What did your father do?
My grandfather raised me.
Your grandfather. Okay, that's fine. Yeah. Okay, cool. So how many siblings did you have? Or do you have?
Lordy, it was about me. I was actually the only child by my mother, but I lived with my grandmother and my grandfather. So it was about 17 of us.
Wow. So okay. What other families do you remember living down there at the Elbow?
Well, the Smiths, the Colemans, the Galbraiths. That was literally it. Most of it was all our family.
Okay, cool. So, what did you and your siblings, cousins, what did y'all do in your spare time as children down there at the Elbow?
Hunt and fish.
Hunting fish. Okay. Are there any significant traditions or holiday traditions or anything that you remember that you all like coming together doing specifically?
I mean, Thanksgiving, Christmas. I mean, normal holidays. It didn't really matter because we ate like it was the last day anyway.
Yeah. So how often would you guys come from the Elbow into the town of into town?
Okay, like I say, my grandfather would come in, go to the red and white supermarket. They would let us get the trash from the back of the old produce and stuff to feed the hogs and stuff with. And then Grandpa would get, Grandma and Grandpa would let us get the flour, the salt, and pepper, stuff like that. We come in, they had a bus that would pick us up and take us to the school and drop us back off. And that was it.
Okay, and so was there a school down there?
No.
Okay. So what businesses do you remember being down there?
Well, we had some small stores.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing that was big enough to considered a grocery store.
Yeah.
I mean, but as far as us kids, you know, the older siblings and deal, they had, you know, donuts, candy, cupcakes, bread.
Do you remember the name of those stores and who owned those stores?
No, that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
That was a long time ago.
Okay. Let's see. So, when did your family leave the Elbow?
I think they bought everybody out. It's been about maybe 20 or 30 years ago, something like that.
Okay. And how did your family feel about leaving the Elbow?
Oh, they wasn't happy. I mean, we had been there all these years, and we just figured that why come all of a sudden now that you want to make us leave out of there?
Yeah.
And it floods just the same way on the other side of the street.
Right.
Yeah, because they call it the bottoms over on the west side. It flooded more than the Elbow did.
Mm-hmm.
But since when it flooded, I guess it took out the bridges and it made such a big hassle that was one way to get rid of it.
And when y'all moved into town, did y'all like being in town?
No.
No. Yeah. It was a culture shock.
It was more than a culture shock.
Yeah. Okay.
Because back then we didn't really have restrooms. We had outhouses.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, literally, when I said we lived in the Elbow, I mean it was literally like living in the country. And I'm not talking about country where you got little cows and pigs.
Yeah.
I'm talking about country when you had to go hunt for your food to eat. You know, you had to go fishing to get your food to eat.
Mm-hmm.
You had to plant your gardens to get your potatoes, vegetables, and all this stuff to eat. So it was, when I say country, it's not like, okay, we had horses and cows. Yeah, we had horses and cows, but we had the cows and the pigs to go to the slaughterhouse. So that's why I say we never had to go to the grocery store because we had our own animals. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. And so if you, because I know you say you don't really remember the names of the businesses and stuff, I'm just trying to get a layout, kind of. What church was down there?
Mount Olive Baptist Church, Reverend Coleman.
Okay.
What was it, Mount Zion?
That's it. My bad. My
Mount
bad.
Zion, okay.
You talking about 40, 50 years ago.
No,
Mount Zion. So they probably looking at me saying, now, Tawny, boy, I know you was a kid. And like I say, they did, they had a basement where we would go, I guess you can say for Sunday school and all that, when we had time. And they would teach us, you know, to read, to know about the Bible and all of that. So that's what I'm saying. And this is the deal. I mean, we worked, we did what we had to do, but every Sunday we was in church. And that's something that my grandmother, I mean, she made sure that you go. Now my grandfather, whole different person. He's all about, you know, making money, taking care of his family. Because anytime you can work at a place for 27 years, miss 3 days, and never take a vacation, hey, I tried that.
How long did that last?
Well, it lasted 5 years.
Yeah.
And I got sick.
Yeah.
But I can remember in my heart the 2 days my grandfather got sick. That was the only 2 days that I've known him to miss work.
Yeah. And what was your grandfather's name?
John Clifford Galbraith.
What are some other,
What
are some other families that you remember being in the Elbow that you were?
Okay, we had the Berries, we had the Macks, we had the Smiths, we had the Blacks.
Okay.
Man, I'm telling you, it's the Allens, because Andy Allen. We had quite a few. Like I said, we were mostly all family, so you know, it wasn't Mr. Black. It was sir, yes ma'am.
Yeah.
Do you know that is? That's Mr.
You
Black.
didn't know their name.
Yeah, because our family members. I mean, like we have family members, and we say, okay, that's Uncle Possum. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
But
that's
yeah.
Tenny. That's Tenny over there.
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah.
my grandfather was called Tenny. So
Yeah.
I'm like, well, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, just like Yuji and, I mean, everybody had their own little nicknames. If they gave you a name, it stuck.
It stuck.
It was no other way around it. If they call you Carrot Head, that was your name.
That was it.
So that was it.
Now, the greatest thing about the elbow that I used to absolutely love as a child were the stories. I felt like I could be right there in the elbow just by the conversation.
Oh man.
So you told me a story just a little bit ago about a time when
Yeah.
y'all were shooting some.
Yeah, we was out hunting because we was like, okay, well, we're gonna eat some squirrels today. So me and my uncle, I'm not gonna say no them part names, but we hanging over a tree. He's out there leaning over there because we shot him and he fell in the river. So he's hanging off a tree branch and he grabbed him, and all of a sudden we heard the police say, "Hey, come out with your hands up, drop your weapons." So literally, they're on the other side of the river. So we take off running. We go through fields. So we running, me and my uncle, and I'm like, oh my God. So one of our members, I'm not gonna say his name, he ran, hit the water, and he went up under the water. I was like, holy crap. But I'm gonna say this name, UG Mac, which is one of my family members to heart.
Yeah.
I swear, he ran over the top of the water.
He was walking on
He was,
water.
he was walking, he was walking on water.
Yeah.
So I sat here and I turned and I looked at my uncle and I said, well, what am I supposed to do? He didn't went under the water. He didn't went over the top. He said, well, come on, put the gun in your leg. We're going to walk down the street. Literally. I mean, it's stories that would just, it's good memories.
It is. And what would you like to see happen to the elbow?
Well, I would like for them at least to have it opened up where people can at least go over there and see some of the stuff. I mean, because there's a lot of stories that, you know, they hear voices and all of that. But if you lived in the elbow, like we lived in the elbow, and how we was brought up with our codes, no. If it is, they ain't supposed to be there.
Yeah.
So, but, yeah.
I think it's pretty good, yeah.
No, okay.
So, well, I know I do have one more question. So, for the people and the kids and everyone that grew up in the elbow, what were y'all called from the people in town? You know what I'm saying?
We were the Elbodians.
Yeah. And so, and did y'all have a lot of people that y'all would come over to visit in town, or was this kind of like two different worlds?
No, two different worlds.
Okay.
We literally sometimes we have our own trails. It's crazy. We have trees that fell down. We'll run across the trees, sneak over into that part of the area, play basketball or whatever, and then sneak back before it get dark.
That is just so amazing to me that this is like a whole town down there.
It's a whole town.
Now I heard you mention the Blue Hole earlier. Now I know what the Blue Hole is, but a lot of people may not.
Okay,
know.
the Blue Hole is a fishing spot. I mean, they used to say back in the day the Blue Hole didn't have a bottom. So at one time they had like 4 or 5 people go stand up on each other's shoulder to see if somebody's hand could be up there.
Yeah.
So, you know, finally it did. So they said, well, okay, the Blue Hole got a bottom. But yeah, well, that was probably one of our best fishing spots because when I say Blue Hole, it was like a stream of water coming into one big round thing of water, and then it drained off into the bridge.
So y'all always caught fish was always flowing through there.
I mean, we catch times when it flood, we can catch fish in the street.
Yeah.
I mean, so.
Yeah. Now, was there some type of y'all would have called them a juke joint or bar or something? Was there one located next to the Blue Hole?
Yeah. See, you're going there now. Yeah, we had our little places.
See, the story I heard, you know, a lot of people used to get thrown in the Blue Hole back in the day.
Yeah. Well, see, you ain't gonna get nobody come back and get me talking about where the spots. And y'all gotta realize now, back in these days, I was a kid.
Yeah.
So, you know, and you know, they didn't play that. The only thing is, you know, they would let us come in and clean up after everybody was gone, throw all the bottles away, clean, sweep. But yeah, it was some nice little juke joints.
Yeah, it was life down there.
Had family members that worked them real good. And we had other members that the hoots and all other little stuff. So, you know. But hey, like I said, we didn't have any liquor stores. And none of that stuff was around. So
Y'all were down there.
we didn't need it because, like I said, we was our own family. What we needed, we made.
Yeah.
We only, like I say, only thing we got from the grocery store was salt and pepper. My grandmother made the lye soap. We didn't have bathrooms. We had outhouses. We took our baths in a tin tub. It was, the first time that we actually came out and I went to a guy's house and they had a bathtub. I said, man, y'all rich. I said, Jesus Christ. He was like, huh? I was like, man, y'all got a bathroom, y'all got a toilet, y'all got a shower. I was like, oh shit. I said, where your family work at?
Yeah.
They was like, oh, they just work for the schools. I'm like, and I would say their names, but I'm gonna keep it out of there too. But you probably know who I'm talking about.
More to come.
It's kind of a catch-22 because it's like y'all had y'all's own.
It was
Even
literally.
though it wasn't. You didn't have a bathroom. You had your own.
I mean, we even had our own tents. We had everything.
Yeah.
So it was everything. We had our own club. We protected our streets. I mean,
Yeah,
we
so
had
y'all,
people
did y'all have police down there? Or was it just random when
Well,
the government?
I'm going to tell you right now, police didn't come to Guthrie.
The elbow?
Not in the elbow.
Really?
See, the deal is back in the day, yeah. Back in the day, we took care of ours.
Yeah.
I mean, it was certain things they said, you know, watch out for the polka dotted man. I mean, it was certain things that we had codes for. You want me to say it?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
No one cut.
It was actually a white man with freckles.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
I mean, that was our only fear.
Yeah.
When we left and we come back at night, didn't have nothing but 3 lights in the elbow.
Mm-hmm.
So we would line up at the bridge, me, my aunt, my uncle, and we would take off full speed and we would not stop until we got to the center of the elbow where the light was at.
Wow.
And then we would run another block and then we would get home. And that's probably why we were good in all kind of sports.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, track, number 1, basketball, number 1, football, number 1, even baseball, because all we did was through stuff. So.
Yeah, that's what y'all had.
And even when it comes to fishing, now we even got family members now that's on a professional fishing tour.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we've had our shots. I mean,
Yeah. I think that's amazing. And I think that our younger generation needs to talk to.
Oh my
You're
God.
still alive, and you
I
had
sat
to
back
deal with that.
and I look at these kids and I be like, boy, I was like, you couldn't have made it with my grandma. My grandma, she was probably 5'7", 160 pounds, had hands of stone from picking the gardens and picking the fields. And we sat in there and my little cousin had her little boyfriend and he was talking. And I said, boy, you just wait until this is over. I'm going to bust you in your mouth.
Yeah.
And my grandmother said, well, I'm not going to have this at the table, so we're just going to stop. I said, okay. And he looked at me and I said, okay, say another word. And all of a sudden she said, pow! I just sat there, tears rolled down my eyes. I said, I'm not going to mess with him, Grandma, I swear I ain't. I said, I ain't going to mess with him. I said, okay. I said, but when I said in my mind, as soon as we leave her, your ass is mine. I swear your ass is mine.
Grandma.
But I did have one story because my grandmother, she was really, really protective. And I don't know if y'all know, back in the day, a lot of the family members had separate rooms. So my grandmother had a room up front and my grandpa had a room in the middle and we had rooms all around.
Yeah.
So me being the smart person, going to these little juke joints and all that, I said, well, I'm going to get this out of the way. I went and knocked on the window. I said, Grandma, let me in. I knocked on the window. I said, Grandma, let me in. She said, no, this is your grandpa. I said, oh. I said, I'm done now. I said, I'm done. After that, I said, okay. So my grandpa, I always thought he was Jesse James because he always carried at least, and I'm saying at least 4 guns on him.
Yeah.
I mean, he had them in his sock, in his pocket. He had them everywhere. So.
Yeah.
But like I said, we took care of family.
Yeah.
We never had any problems. And this is the thing, we never really got sick.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, you look up and they got cancer, they got this, they dying for this, they getting this. All of a sudden, we started getting the food from the grocery stores. The kids went from weighing, 5 pounds to 10 pounds.
Yeah.
Here it is, in high school, I think the biggest person there was maybe 135, 140 pounds. We thought we was huge.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden, they started doing the food. Next thing they go, we had one guy in all of Guthrie. His name was Andrew Knight. He was like 6'4", 275. Looked like he can pick up a car.
Yeah.
That was the only person.
Yeah.
And
Big.
that was big.
Yeah.
So, well, yeah, because Ralph, Raymond, I said names. Yeah, a few family members were pretty big.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had everything. We had martial arts classes, self-defense classes. So, yeah, we're good. We were taken care of very well.
Yeah.
We were taught how to shoot, everything. So, yeah.
Okay. And so, but y'all didn't have a school down there. You had to come over here to
Well,
school. But
we had schools, but we didn't have licensed schools. See, because at our churches, they taught school down underneath. Now, as far as as far as schools, Favor High School was one of our schools. I think Banner was one of our schools, and it was on the west side. So our schools was close to us.
Yeah.
So.
Cool. I mean,
Yeah, you would have loved it. That's all I'm saying. You
yeah,
loved
I mean, because
it.
that's what I think it's beautiful to have our own. It doesn't matter how little it would have been. I would have loved to have just our own.
We had watermelon fields.
Yeah.
We had,
And where was some camaraderie.
3-wheelers through there.
yeah. You can,
Yeah.
man. And the deal is there was no traffic. And this was the deal. If a car was coming down the street, everybody would stop and wait until that one car go. There was no traffic, like traffic, no. So literally, you could do what you wanted to do. And you wasn't gonna do nothing crazy because you're gonna get that behind whoop. And the thing about this is you didn't have to worry about getting a whooping from your mom because you can get a whooping from a lady down the street.
Yeah.
Bruce Smith was one of them, boy.
Yeah, it does not matter. You can get a whooping from anybody down the street, and then when you get home, you're gonna get another whooping.
Oh yeah.
Because the first thing they say, well, why? This is the first thing they're gonna say. Well, why are you disrespecting us like this? And you did the same thing. I didn't do nothing. Then she said, okay.
So do you remember if the schools were segregated before the elbow, before y'all had to move from the elbow, or after?
Well, it depends on what you call segregated.
Well, like
I know what you're talking about, but it depends on what you call segregated.
when they make
Because
all these
they-
from Favor.
Nah, see, that's where my dad and them went. They went to Faber High School.
Okay.
See, that was before my time.
Okay.
But, you in a school, but you're with your same people.
Yeah.
They're not gonna too much mix it all up.
Yeah.
But like I say, as time growed on, you got to meet people. Like I said, when I was like, well, damn. And I tell people, before I turned civilized, man, everything was perfect. And they told me, what you mean before you turned civilized? I was like, man, we had to hunt for our food.
Yeah.
Our water we got from a well. It was literally, live or die right here. So,
Yeah. Oh, I do want. Well, okay, so y'all's houses, how were they set up? Were they like, I don't know, just were they like, what would you call them, slums, or would you call them were they nice?
had builders. Andy Allen, we called him Gump. He can build you anything you want. When I say anything, I mean anything. So no, we had big pretty houses.
Yeah.
I mean, I literally had, I think it might have been one of the first houses that my grandfather and them had. It was like a 3-bedroom house. He built onto it, had garden area, had farming area. They say over in here, they say a lot. Down there, ours was like 2 lots, but it was like a whole block. So, you know, country and in town is 2 different things.
Yeah.
No, but the houses were nice. I mean, just like Andy Gump, hey, I built this because of what he showed me how to do.
Yeah.
I mean, he'd literally have us out there. We didn't get to go to the wood shops now, but we tore stuff down, so he had us kids out there with hammers pulling all the nails out of the board, or he can rebuild stuff. So,
Cool. Well, I think we're pretty done. I mean, we're pretty good. We're
Okay.
close. Yeah. I thank you so much.